So, just before Christmas I posted a video called "Why does FC Halifax Town get low crowds?" And at the end of the video I said, if you'd like to add a bit more to this topic, please leave some in the comments, and for the love of God, please be respectful. And I got a lot more comments than I thought I would. And thank you for all those comments. I thought they were very well articulated, I thought they were very well thought out. Some of you commented as fans, some of you commented as neutrals. I heard from people from all over the place. It's nice to see Halifax Town get spoken about by people who are from or are fans of places like Carlisle, Shrewsbury, Exeter, Portsmouth, Walsall, Torquay, Wilston even, which is kind of ironic because
you've got no friends!
Like I said the other day, I bet you're sick of it. I've tried to reply to all of you, see what I have to say. I can't reply to everybody. So I've decided to make another video, and this is a video where I go over the reasons, or most of the reasons, why people think we don't get big crowds or anything like that. This is what most people talked about, this is the reasons that people think. I'm going to talk about 5, I'm going to give the facts, and I'm also going to give some of my own personal opinions on them. But these are the reasons why most people said why our crowds are so low at the moment. I do want to point out straight away though that there are no right or wrong answers, and that I'm in no way having a go or attacking anybody. As I say, I'm just giving the facts and my own personal opinions as to why I think my club doesn't get the crowds that they could get. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at why you think we don't get big crowds. So what was arguably the most frequent comment I got was that our ticket prices are just far too high for some people to pay. And yes, I do agree, I do see where a lot of people are coming from with this one. To pay to see a game at the Shea, it costs £22 for adults, £19 for concessions, £10 for 12 to 17 year olds, £4 for under 12s. That's obviously a lot to pay, especially in the current economic climate where there's been people struggling to afford the heating and food. Obviously, football comes second in those circumstances. If you are a football fan who struggled, you are going to have to make the sacrifice of not seeing your team, or maybe not seeing your team as often. And as I say, this seems to be the most frequent comment, so logically you'd think we should lower the prices and then Halifax Town will get bigger crowds and people won't have to worry too much financially. And I agree, that would be great. However, I do have one slight issue with this. You see, back in 2008, Halifax Town actually went bust, and obviously after that they became FC Halifax Town. We have always been fragile with money and the way things are run behind the scenes. We could very easily just lower the prices, £5 in, people might come back. You've got to remember that the current economic climate won't just affect fans of these football clubs, they'll affect the football clubs themselves. To take that risk where we lower the prices but the fans don't show up, that can be really damning for Halifax. You know, we don't want to be at risk of going out of business ever again. We want football at Halifax to stay, especially this year. And when you put it into the context that some people, they can come, they just won't come every week. You gotta remember that there's not senior football club every week, and then there's never senior football club again. So while I completely agree with the ticket price situation, I can also see why the price is so high to begin with, because sadly, everybody suffers in this situation, and so at the moment, it's going to be a struggle for everyone, and I get struggles on both sides. One of the most unfortunate situations with many clubs is when they're located in an area which is just chock-a-block full of historic football clubs, big football clubs, etc. And we are no exception. Here in West Yorkshire we have Leeds United. Leeds obviously have a lot of history, they have a huge global following. At the moment they fight promotion back to the Premier League yet again. And even though they're currently in League 1, League 2, Bradford City and Huddersfield Town are also very big, very historical clubs in West Yorkshire. They both have stadiums that are capable of holding more than 25,000 fans. Going back to the last subject, they have decent prices for seeing a game there. Ultimately, we have to admit that all 3 clubs just have a bigger appeal than we do. And it isn't just the 3 West Yorkshire clubs in the Football League that puts people off coming to the Shea. You've got to remember that across the Pennines you've got Burnley. Again, they're battling for promotion to the Premier League at the moment. Very big club. You go beyond Burnley, you get to the Manchester clubs, you get the Liverpool clubs going into Merseyside. Going to South Yorkshire, you get the Sheffield clubs. And they all have a larger appeal than Halifax Town ever has. At the end of the day, we're a 5th tier non-league side who don't have a lot of history and not a lot to shout about. We've rarely won leagues. The biggest moment in the old club's history was probably when they beat Manchester City in the FA Cup 3rd round in 1980. The only league we won was the Conference in 1998, and that's the division that we're in now. And then we went bust 10 years later, came back, and we won a few trophies at Wembley and a lot of promotion to get back to the National League, but it's still not going to be a bigger appeal than everyone else on neighbouring. Come on. And we're not the only football club in England that suffers this. Sticking in the National League, you of course also have Gateshead. Gateshead have also got low crowds and play in an area where many of the local supporters follow teams such as Newcastle United, or other clubs of the North East such as Sunderland, Middlesbrough. I'll even include Hartlepool in there. Hartlepool have played in the Football League for most of their history. They still get well over 2,000, 3,000 fans a game. The last time Gateshead played in the Football League was about 6 decades ago. And it's sad really because Gateshead, they won the FA Trophy last year, they were there the final before when we won it. They've been in the playoffs loads of time and they've had a lot of unfair things happen to them, not allowed to play in the playoffs last season. There's a club there that can really thrive and be something, and I hope we are one day personally. The only argument I've got with this one, however, is that there are some clubs out there that do seem to get a fairly decent following to say they play in an area which again is, as I keep saying, chock-a-block full of big football teams. Another team in our league is Altrincham. Altrincham at the moment get 1,500 fans averagely at a game. Unlike us and Gateshead have never played in the Football League. And in Altrincham there are clubs just up the road such as Bolton, Stockport, Blackburn. All of these are far bigger clubs historically, or altogether just far bigger clubs. You've got 2 in League One, 1 in the Championship. The next Premier League winning team, Blackburn. Bolton was in the Premier League. Stockport has gone from second tier to non-league and all the way back up. Still might get into the Championship next season. It's not like Altrincham has got an appeal that most clubs don't have and never will have. You might not agree with all of that, but all I'm saying is sometimes just because your club might be the smallest in your area doesn't mean you can't get a crowd in. I don't think it's just the local football teams that affect Halifax Town though. If anybody out there knows the local sporting history of Halifax, they know for a fact that Halifax predominantly is a rugby league town. They may not be in the top division at the moment, but if you ever look up Halifax Rugby League or Halifax Panthers as they are at the moment, they are, in my opinion anyway, one of the most important teams to rugby league in the entire nation. Halifax won 4 league championships in the old big league and they've won 5 Challenge Cups. They are the only team in the 21st century who has made it to the Challenge Cup semi-final twice as a championship club. And ironically, while we're talking about crowds, Halifax, along with Warrington, share the honour of having the biggest crowd ever seen in a rugby league match, with 102,569 fans at the Oslo Stadium in 1954. Allegedly, it was actually well over 120,000. I say allegedly, it was. When it comes to rugby league, Halifax have a very proud history that's far bigger compared to what Halifax have in the football world. Even today, there's a lot of rugby league greats that have come from Halifax, played for Halifax, still celebrate for being at Halifax, So Halifax is a rugby league town. However, several towns of the north are, and just because they are doesn't mean the football team can't thrive themselves. The biggest example of this is Wigan. Wigan is again one of the biggest rugby league towns in England. Wigan is also the home of Wigan Athletic Football Club. Wigan didn't come to the Football League until 1978, and when they did, within 30 years they were in the Premier League, and then 35 years after they were first elected into the Football League, they won the FA Cup against Manchester City. Because obviously declined since then, they're in the bottom half of League One at the moment, but still, Wigan Athletic has never truly suffered because of the rugby league. And the rugby league team has always been up there as one of the best. I don't know all the stats, but I know that Wigan have certainly got the most Challenge Cups. And it isn't like you can't follow both Halifax Town and Halifax Rugby League. I mean, Halifax Town plays on Saturday afternoons and the occasional Tuesday night. Halifax Rugby League tend to play on Sunday afternoons. It isn't like the rugby plays at the same time, and because of that, Halifax Town don't get the crowds all together. There is a bit of a history, with both teams sharing the stage, and there is a bit of a hostility there. I will go into that in a later video. But at the end of the day, they play on different days, and Halifax Town season is between August and May. The rugby starts in February, goes through the summer when Halifax Town aren't playing. The season's over by about September or October. I guess at the end of the day, the reason why rugby league is an issue for Halifax Town is because unlike Halifax Town, Halifax Rugby League has seen a lot of success in their history. And if it's success that pulls in the crowd, then obviously, if you're a sports fan, you're going to go more for rugby league than football, aren't you? This might come across as slightly controversial, but I personally believe that the local advertising in Halifax for not just Halifax Town but all the sporting teams is fairly poor. What I mean by that is that there's a lot of posters and signs and everything that advertise local businesses, but you rarely ever see anything like promoting season tickets for Halifax Town, spreading the word and saying to people, come down the show, support your local team. It's just not there as much as it is with other teams. The reason why I want to point this out is that in some towns, it seems that the football club is the life and soul of the town, even if you're not a football fan. Take Bury for example. When Bury were kicked out of the English Football League, it just affected the Bury fans. It affected the whole town. And now they've got a huge climb to get back to where they were before, and I can see just from the clips I'm watching that the whole town seems to be getting behind it. It seemed to be to me anyway. A few years ago I went to go see Halifax Town play against Chesterfield at their stadium. As we drove into Chesterfield, I noticed quite a few posters, a lot more marketing for Chesterfield Football Club than I've ever seen in Halifax. I could be wrong, but given that Chesterfield is now back in the Football League, and always just in a really good crowd for the National League, it got me thinking, just how much the local community around here actually cares about its football club. Now the reason why I feel that's a bit unfair is that there are a lot of people who care about this football club. I'm sure they would help try to spread the word on what's going on at Halifax and tell them to come down as much as they can. I mean, I don't want to blow my own trumpet here, but my YouTube channel now is nearly 100% all about Halifax Town. Not always, I've done the odd blog where I've gone to another ground. I could very easily follow the footsteps of a lot of people I watch on YouTube when they go to different grounds in England, different grounds in Scotland, Ireland, all different parts of Europe, different parts of the world. I could build a channel up to that, but ultimately I want to show people what's going on at my football club. While I can't speak for every single fan at the end of the match, and some people might not agree with me at all, I am showing my football club to the world, to YouTube, showing Halifax Town to a generation that watches a lot of football content online. I want to show this because I care about this football club. Obviously, it isn't just me. In a few weeks' time, we'll be posting another video, which is not a match day vlog, but it's still to do with Halifax Town, where I'll be speaking to people who work for the Halifax Town Supporters Club. I'll get into them all in the video, but these are people who are solely dedicated to making sure that Halifax Town be the best club that they can possibly be. They sell merchandise, they volunteer to help at the stadium. They want to see crowds come to the Shea. And there are shops in Halifax that do sell Halifax Town merchandise. Even if it's not 100% official, it's still celebrating the town. There's quite a few shops in the piece of that do sell merchandise with Halifax Town. There's definitely advertising with Halifax Town. There are people spreading the word about. People do care about the club, trying to spread the word. All I'm saying is that, unfortunately, and I think we can all agree with this, there's a bit of a lack of it. On this final subject, I'm going to admit that this is something that I didn't see anybody talk about in the comments. If I did, maybe it was like one or two. I didn't see that many people talk about this. But I personally think that this last one is genuinely one of the damning reasons why we don't get a lot of fans at the Shea. I'm pretty sure most of you have heard of Dazn Sport or Dazn Sport, whatever it's called. DAZN Sports. I really don't know how to pronounce the name, I'm so sorry. I'll just call them Dazn for now. Dazn Sports is a streaming service that currently shows National League games on TV. It's a streaming service, it's a bit like what you get with Amazon. If you watch it, it has many pros and cons, other than the fact that it's kind of illegal. The obvious pro is that if you can't make it to a game, say Halifax Town's playing away down south, or any team in National League is playing just far away from the home ground away, and you can't make it, obviously you can watch it on that, or you're sick and you can't make it to a game, you know, you can't get out of bed. And I know a lot of people have watched it for those reasons. If you generally can't make it to your football team and you want to see them, I have nothing wrong with that. However, the biggest con that Dazn Sport has, in my opinion, is take the other day when we played Boston. As you can see from this clip I'm showing you, the weather was diabolical. It was freezing. There were people like myself just shivering throughout the whole match. The pitch is affected by the weather. Quite a few people who will just turn around and say, I can't be bothered to watch them today. It's too cold. It's too deep. I'm going to watch them on Dazn Sport instead. And like I say, there is nothing wrong with that. But it could damage the club very badly. The more people that watch football on television and the less people that come to actually watch the football team at the stadium when they're playing at home means that the football club is just going to suffer so much. It's like we were saying about the ticket prices, Halifax Town is very fragile when it comes to money. They do want to support us. This is why I'm doing this video in the first place. The more people watch things like Dazn Sport, the lower the crowds will get, and eventually those low crowds are going to come with a cost. And really, is that what you want to watch it on? I've watched Halifax Town on television. We were on the other week against Tamworth, and it is nothing compared to the actual live experience of watching your football team in the flesh. And I think that with any football team, even in the Premier League, it's just not the same. I've seen Premier League football. It's a lot better in real life than it is on television. And some of you might call me a bit of a hypocrite because obviously I'm showing what happened at the game on this channel, but you've got to remember, I'm just showing the parts that I filmed, which is mostly, if not all of it at times, the highlights of the match. I always try and make sure I get the goals on camera. I'm still regretting the fact I didn't get Jimmy Cook's goal on camera. But I did see it in real life, and that is far better than ever watching it on film. Watching it back, great. Watching it live when it first happened, nothing compares. So yeah, to some, it might not seem like the biggest problem, and as I keep saying, if you generally can't make it to the match and decide to watch it on Dazn Sport, the game's too far for you to travel, there is nothing wrong with that. If you are only watching it because there is absolutely no other way that you can watch the football team that you want to see week in, week out, be my guest. Just remember, it will never compare to actually watching Halifax Town in real life. Tell me why didn't I get Cook's goal on camera? And on that note, I'll leave it there. Thank you all for watching. If there's any topics you want me to cover or think I could have covered in this video, please tell me down below. I will literally be back tomorrow night when we play Rochdale. I really hope we get a win on that one. It's going to be a really, really hard game, that, I think. I'm going to be back here tomorrow to tell you all about it.